everyone. How's it going today? I know you're not going to be able to see everything that I'm doing in this video, but I hope that you enjoy because I'm trying something new, and I'm sorry about all of the stupid noises in my home. But that's just life, isn't it? Shit happens, and we're gonna read. I've already read the core book of this, so today I'm going to read some of the short stories that are in the back of the book, because I've only ever read one of them. They're very short, and they're very spooky. So let's get into the back of the book. Once you finish, I Am Legend, you are greeted with random back short stories that have nothing to do with the book. I was a little upset when I finished the story, and to my surprise, there were some freaking short stories at the end. I had no idea. A man in a wrinkled black suit entered the fire. Sorry, I suck at reading. A man in a wrinkled black suit entered the fairgrounds. He was tall and lean, his skin the color of drying leather. Ew. He wore a faded sport shirt underneath his suit coat, white with yellow stripes. His hair was black and greasy, parted with pale blue. Parted in the middle and brushed back flat on each side. His eyes were pale blue. There we go. There was no expression on his face. It was 102 degrees in the sun, but he was not perspiring, sweating pretty much. He walked to one of the booths and stood there, watching people try to toss ping pong balls into dozens of little fish bowls on a table. A fat man wearing a straw hat and waving a bamboo cane in his right hand kept telling everyone how easy it was. Try your luck, he told them. Win a prize. There's nothing to it. He had an unlit, half-smoked cigar between his lips, which he shifted from side to side as he spoke. For a while, the tall man in the wrinkled black suit stood watching. Not one person managed a ping-pong ball into a fish bowl. Some of them tried to throw the balls in, others tried to bounce them off the table. None of them had any luck. At the end of 7 minutes, the man in the black suit pushed between the people until he was standing by the booth. He took a quarter from his right hand trouser pocket and laid it on the counter. Yes, sir, said the fat man. Try your luck. He tossed the quarter into a metal box beneath the counter. Reaching down, he picked 3 grimy ping pong balls from a basket. He clamped them on the counter, and the tall man picked them up. Toss a ball in the fish bowl, said the fat man. Win a prize. There's nothing to it. Sweat was trickling down his florid face. My cat just yawned. He took a quarter from the young. There's nothing to it. Sweat was trickling down his florid face. He took a quarter from a teenage boy and set 3 ping pong balls in front of him. The man in the black suit looked at the 3 ping-pong balls on his left palm. He hefted them, his face immobile. The man in the straw hat turned away. He tapped at the fish balls with his cane. He shifted the stump of cigar in his mouth. Toss the ball in the fish bowl, he said. A prize for everybody. Nothing to it. Behind him, a ping-pong ball clinked into one of the bowls. He turned and looked at the bowl. He looked at the man in the black suit. There you are, he said. See that? Nothing to it. Easiest game on the fairgrounds. The tall man threw another ping-pong ball. It arched across the booth and landed in the same bowl. All the other people trying missed. Yes, sir, the fat man said. A prize for everybody. Nothing to it. He picked up 2 quarters and set ping-pong balls before a man and a wife. He turned and saw the 3rd ping-pong ball dropping into the fishbowl. It didn't touch the neck of the bowl. It didn't bounce. It landed on the other 2 balls and lay there. See, the man in the straw hat said. A prize. On his very first turn, easiest game on the fairgrounds, reaching over to a set of wooden shelves, he picked up an ashtray and set it on the counter. Yes, sir, nothing to it, he said. He took a quarter from a man in overalls and set 3 ping-pong balls in front of him. The man in the black suit pushed away the ashtray. He laid another quarter on the counter. 3 more ping-pong balls, he said. I hope you guys are liking this so far. This is kind of fun. I like to read, and this is spooky. The fat man grinned. 3 more ping-pong balls it is, he said. He reached below the counter, picked up 3 more balls, and set them on the counter in front of the man. Step right up, he said. He caught a ping-pong ball, which someone had bounced off the table. He kept an eye on the tall man while he stooped to retrieve some ping-pong balls on the ground. The man in the black suit raised his right hand, holding one of the ping-pong balls. He threw it overhead, his face expressionless. The ball curved through the air and fell into the fishbowl with the other 3 balls. It didn't bounce. The man in the straw hat stood with a grunt. He dumped a handful of ping-pong balls into the basket underneath the counter. Try your luck and win a prize, he said. Easy as pie. He set 3 ping-pong balls in front of a boy and took his quarter. His eyes grew narrow as he watched the tall man raise his hand to throw the 2nd ball. No leaning in, he told the man. The man in the black suit glanced at him. I'm not, he said. The fat man nodded. Go ahead, he said. The tall man threw the 2nd ping-pong ball. It seemed to float across the booth. It fell through the neck of the bowl and landed on top of the other 4 balls. Oh my God, so many balls. Wait a second, said the fat man, holding up his hand. The other people who were throwing stopped. The fat man leaned across the table. Sweat was running down beneath the collar of his long-sleeved shirt. He shifted the soggy cigar in his mouth as he scooped the 5 balls from the bowl. He straightened up and looked at them. He hooked the bamboo cane over his left forearm and rolled the balls between his palms. Okay, folks, he said. He cleared his throat. Keep throwing. Win a prize. He dropped the balls into the basket underneath the counter, taking another quarter from the man in overalls. He set 3 ping-pong balls in front of him. The man in the black suit raised his hand and threw the 6th ball. The fat man watched it arc through the air. It fell into the bowl he'd emptied. It didn't roll around inside. It landed on the bottom, bounced once straight up, then lay motionless. The fat man grabbed the ashtray, stuck it in the shelf, and picked up a fishbowl won a prize. There's nothing to it. Turning around, he saw the man in the wrinkled suit had pushed away the goldfish in a bowl and placed another quarter on the counter. 3 more ping pong balls, he said. The fat man looked at him. He shifted the damp cigar in his mouth. 3 more ping pong balls, the tall man said. The man in the straw hat hesitated. Suddenly he noticed people looking at him, and without a word, he took the quarter and set 3 ping pong balls on the counter. He turned around and tapped the fish bowls with his cane. Step right up and try your luck, he said. Easiest game on the fairgrounds. He removed his straw hat and rubbed the left sleeve of his shirt across his forehead. He was almost bald. The small amount of hair on his head was plastered to his scalp by sweat. He put his straw hat back on and set 3 ping pong balls in front of a boy. He put the quarter in the metal box underneath the counter. A number of people were watching the tall man now when he threw the first of the 3 ping pong balls into the fishbowl. Some of them applauded, and a small boy cheered. The fat man watched suspiciously. His small eyes shifted as the man in the black suit threw his second ping pong ball into the fishbowl with the other 2 balls. He scowled and seemed about to speak. The scatter of applause appeared to irritate him. The man in the wrinkled suit tossed the 3rd ping pong ball. It landed on top of the other 3. Several people cheered, and all of them clapped. The fat man's cheeks were redder now. He put the fishbowl with the goldfish back on its shelf. He gestured toward a higher shelf. "What'll it be?" he asked. The tall man put a quarter on the counter. 3 more ping pong balls, he said in a brisk voice. He picked up 3 more balls from the basket and rolled them between his palms. "Don't give him the bad ones now," someone said in a mocking voice. "No bad ones," the fat man said. "They're all the same." He set the balls on the counter and picked up the quarter. He tossed it into the metal box underneath the counter. The man in the black suit raised his hand. "Wait a second," the fat man said. He turned and reached across the table, picking up the fishbowl. He turned it over and dumped the 4 ping pong balls into the basket. He seemed to hesitate before he put the empty fishbowl back in place. Nobody else was throwing now. They watched the tall man curiously as he raised his hand and threw the first of his 3 ping pong balls. It curved through the air and landed in the same fishbowl, dropping straight down through the neck. It bounced once, then was still. The people cheered and applauded. The fat man rubbed his left hand across his eyebrows and flicked the sweat from his fingertips with an angry gesture. The man in the black suit threw his second ping pong ball. It landed on the same fishbowl. "Hold it," said the fat man. The tall man looked at him. "What are you doing?" the fat man asked. "Throwing ping pong balls," the man answered. Everybody laughed. The fat man's face got redder. "I know that," he said. "It's done with mirrors," someone said, and everybody laughed again. "Funny," said the fat man. He shifted the wet cigar in his mouth and gestured curtly. "Go on," he said. The tall man in the black suit raised his hand and threw the 3rd ping pong ball. It arced across the booth, as though it were being carried by an invisible hand. It landed in the fishbowl on top of the other 2 balls. Everybody cheered and clapped their hands. The fat man in the straw hat grabbed a casserole dish and dumped it on the counter. The man in the black suit didn't look at it. He put another quarter down. 3 more ping pong balls, he said. The fat man turned away from him. "Step right up and win a prize," he said. "Toss the ping pong ball." The noise of disapproval everybody made drowned him out. He turned back, bristling 4 rounds to a customer. He shouted, Where does it say that?" someone asked. "That's the roll," the fat man said. He turned his back on the man and tapped man swallowed nervously. He looked around. A truculent, I don't know the word, expression on its face. Suddenly he threw his hands up. "All right," he said. "Don't get so excited." He glared at the tall man as he picked up the quarter. Bending over, he grabbed 3 ping pong balls and slammed them on the counter. He leaned in close to the man and muttered, "If you're pulling something fast, you'd better cut it out. This is an honest game." The tall man stared at him. His face was blank. His eyes looked very pale in the leathery tan of his face. "What do you mean?" he asked. "No one can throw that many balls in succession into those bowls," the fat man said. The man in the black suit turned and looked at him without expression. "I can," he said. The fat man felt a coldness in his body. Stepping back, he watched the tall man throw the ping pong balls. As each of them landed in the same fishbowl, the people cheered and clapped their hands. The fat man took a set of steak knives from the top prize shelf and set it on the counter. He turned away quickly. "Step right up," he said. "Toss a ball in the fishbowl. Win a prize." His voice was trembling. "He wants to play again," somebody said. The man in the straw hat turned around. He saw the quarter on the counter in front of the tall man. "No more prizes," he said. The man in the black suit pointed to the items on top of the wooden shelves. A 4-slice electric toaster, a shortwave radio, a drill set, and a portable typewriter. "What about them?" he asked. The fat man cleared his throat. "They're only for display," he said. He looked around for help. "Where does it say that?" someone demanded. "That's what they are, so just take my word for it," the man in the straw hat said. His face was dripping with sweat. "I'll play for them," the tall man said. "Now look," the fat man's face was very red. "They're only for display," I said. "Now get the hell." He broke off with a wheezing gasp and staggered back across the table, dropping his cane. The faces of the people swam before his eyes. He heard their angry voices as though from a distance. He saw the blurred figure of the man in the black suit turn away and push through the crowd. He straightened up and blinked his eyes. The steak knives were gone. Almost everybody left the booth. A few of them remained. The fat man tried to ignore their threatening grumbles. He picked a quarter off the counter and set 3 ping pong balls in front of a boy. "Try your luck," he said. His voice was faint. He tossed the quarter into the metal box underneath the counter. He leaned against a corner post and pressed both hands against his stomach. The cigar fell out of his mouth. "God," he said. It felt as though he was bleeding inside. I think that's the story. Yep. So that was it for this story, you guys. I hope you enjoyed it very much. The way that I have to record this is very difficult, so I'm trying to figure out a better way to do it because I like doing this and I miss using this microphone because it's really good. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please let me know in the comments below. If you would like another short story in the next one, let me know and I'll be sure to do that for you. Bye guys.